Today we're going to replace the rollers on an Elmo 16mm CL optical projector. We'll just start and see what this projector looks like. What is typical on one of these Elmos once they've been sitting is the rollers have deteriorated after 35 years. Let's see if I can zoom in to show that. So as you can see, some of the areas, the black urethane has actually come off onto the sound drum. If you take a look, this material is, it's obvious that it's all loose and gooey. So at this point, the first thing I think what we'll do is clean off the sound drum so that the material, this sticky material, doesn't get on the new roller. You can use either mineral spirits or alcohol to get this stuff off. It is very messy, so be prepared to throw away some rags when you're through. Okay. Sometimes it'll get underneath areas where the solar cell is. You have to be very careful if you're cleaning underneath there that you don't break any wires and such. I'm going to do this video in real time pretty much, so some of this seems long. It frankly is long if the stuff gets all over the place. Okay, that looks pretty clean. And the first thing we're going to do is remove the bottom plastic to get better access to the rollers. This particular one, it has a Phillips in the center. Some of the plastic on the bottom is all the way across. Let me back this up a little bit. Don't need this cover right now. So things on some of these, there's a couple screws here, and this piece comes off. Nope, that's what this does. This piece will come off without removing the knobs and everything. Sometimes you have to remove the knobs because this is part of the lower assembly. So let's just get a screwdriver, which I thought I had. Well, these will do. Come on, guy. Sometimes they have a screw up on the top here and you have to rotate the knob. This one does not. So anyway, got that plastic off. So you can see you have a rear roller, larger one, smaller one underneath the sound drum. You have one beneath this silver edge roller, and of course the silver edge roller. On this particular one, you do not have to take off the knob. You can work your way around to get these rollers off without taking the front knob off. But just to show how the knob is taken off, let's get this. we'll do it because you might have to do it on your projector if you have a full piece of plastic on the bottom. So you grab yourself an Allen, metric Allen. I think it's a 2.5, let's see. Yep. They're usually pretty tight. Set that aside. There's a screw here and a screw here that are Phillips. Use a hand Phillips on that. Take off the screw here. Take off the screw here. Basically that exposes this area over here nicely where you can work on it. So at this point, leave it on the side, I think. Try to zoom in on the front two rollers, which seem to me the best ones to start with. I use a socket. Of course you want one that fits, so let's see, no, that won't fit. Otherwise get yourself a small set of wrenches. Don't mess up this nut taking things apart with a pair of pliers or anything. Try to get the right wrench or something. Okay, well, the nut has decided to stay in there, so I'm going to tap it out on the table. Okay. Of course you have a washer. And that lifts right off. On this particular one you'll notice there is no spring. There's no spring down here. On some of them they have a spring, and that's has to have a different silver edged roller. So this is called the standard roller, and we're working with a standard roller today. At this point I'm going to also take off the roller that was on the bottom. These are always a bit tricky to remove. As you can see, there's a little C clip that holds them on right here. I like to work on the back because then I don't lose the clip into the projector. So I have a smaller screwdriver with a small tip. These will work too, but I also use a tool that has a magnetic end on it, and this way I don't lose the clip when it pops, because sometimes the things will end up flying somewhere. If you grab one of the little, let's call it voids in the C-clip, you can twist and push carefully, And what happens is it pops up. I imagine you can see that. Then what I'll do is I'll put my magnet by it because I don't want to lose the darn thing. And there's our clip. And already my hands are a wreck from these messy rollers. Put that aside. I'll take that messy roller off also. Set it down. Yuck. And bear with me while I clean off some of my fingers here. Okay, so now we have the new rollers to install. We have two shafts, of course. So the rollers are ready. And by the way, these are OEM rollers. Our company worked with Elmo to make sure that this roller was replaceable. So at this point, try not to use any of these plastic rollers or homemade rollers. These are really original equipment. They'll actually last longer than the original equipment because this is a solvent resistant urethane that we use to make them. So anyway, let's start with the silver edge roller. I'll get my oil can, which I should have one here. I like to use synthetic oil. Just a drop or two is all you need, a little on the shaft. We have some oil can that puts small amounts on there, which is helpful. You put the indented part inward, just like the old one was. Got that on there. And then, of course, we have the nut and the washer to replace, which is sort of evident. Again, these are small parts, so try not to drop them in the machine like I've done in the past. We're working on it here. Okay. We got the threads on there. Now this particular one, you just tighten the nut until it's solid on there. It should spin freely. Next we're going to put the roller that works underneath it. I like to put the wide part out. There's two sides, wide part, skinny part, wide part out. Of course, a drop of oil on the shaft. For the C-clip. Okay, again, small parts, hard to put on with big fingers. So we're going to put that clip. I like to put there's a rough side and a smooth side. I like to put the smooth side down if you can see the difference. Now I sort of put it where it's catching in the groove, and the nose pliers, oops, gotta be careful to Make sure it doesn't fly somewhere. Dadgummit. It flew somewhere. So I'm going to pause and look for it and get right back to you. Hang on. Well, we're back again. Found the clip. Okay, so we're going to work on it again here. Again, you catch the C part into the groove. And I think I'm going to go from top. Just trying to do it from the side, yeah. To not block the camera. And once your C-clip is on there, you're raring to go to the next part. Of course, this stuff gets all over if you get on your hands, so work up your rollers a bit. Okay, to get to these rollers now, we're going to remove this plate and the knob. Knobs just pull up. Small screwdriver removes the, actually I use a big screwdriver on these. Varies, some of the projectors seems to have different Phillips. So just make sure your Phillips fits the screws you're working with so that you don't strip the screws. Okay, so the plate is off. Now you have one that is down here, goes up against the sound drum. Then you also have this one here, which is reversed. Just show you here. It's on a shaft, and when you turn the knob, this is all stuff all goes up and down. It's connected to a spring. Let's see if I can back this up. It's connected to a spring. When you turn the knob, in which I'm turning now, you see this is the way the mechanism goes in forward. So we're going to have to remove this C-clip and flip it over. And of course remove the C-clip on this one that's facing us. So let's do that now. Okay, first we're going to get this one off. Let me see if I can on the other side so you can block and everything. Okay, I got it, and I didn't drop the, where's my magnet? Okay, guys, keep your tools where you can find them, but right now I can lift this up and not drop it. Oh, here's my magnet. Anyway, here's the C clip off, here's the roller off, and that one done. Put the C clip down here. Bear with me while I remove more goop from my fingers. Okay, this other C-clip is pretty big, so it's easy to take off. My magnet. Here, I would use it to make sure that I didn't drop it. Okay. And what this does, this is on a pivot point. I like to turn the knob a bit to get it where there's no pressure on it. So if you put it in forward, it seems it'll come up. So you just lift as you're going. And now it's loose. You don't have to disconnect this spring. This spring's an adjustment, so if you don't have to, leave it alone. And you flip it over, and then the roller is ready for the removal. This time I'll put my tool where I can get it. My magnet, I mean. Okay, so at this point more removal of the clip. Got it. Got it. That roller, of course, comes off. Put it down here. Wipe off some goop again. Okay, back to square. Back to square. I guess it's the third one, so back to number 3. I'll put a little oil in there. Put that roller on there. And I still have the clip on my tool here, so see if I don't blow this one away. Okay. I've done a lot of these and it's still cumbersome. The key is to get it in the groove, if you can see that. It's still sticking up there though. So come on, baby. Got it. Okay, so that roller's there. We'll wipe those rollers up a little better when we get everything back together. Of course, you would flip it over again and put it back on the shaft. Make sure your spring isn't spun around or anything like that. So add some oil to the shaft. it's nice and loose. It has to be loose. If you feel there's any binding or something, take it off, clean the shaft off. The shaft wasn't greasy, dirty, or sticky. So now we're bringing this back so we can get at this piece here. And that's the last roller. It's a small roller. You get the two big rollers go. You get two big rollers, a silver edged roller and a small roller. The small roller is the one that touches the sound drum. If you reverse them around, it's not going to work right. So make sure you put them in the right spot. Press the white part out. And I think I showed you that before. Put the C-clip on there. Do it from the top like this. I was trying to do it from the side with the clip, and it flew because my hand was in the way of the video. So yes. Got my thumb on it to keep it. This is yeah, that's good. I rotate a little bit, make sure it's on the groove properly. So, as I said, maybe I'll clean them up now while I'm doing it, instead of trying to get in there later. Okay. Again, some mineral spirits. Yeah, well. Alcohol will work, but it's not as fast. Okay. So basically now the rollers are installed properly. I'm going to tighten up on. You want to make sure that your mechanism is all moving around and stuff, so nothing's stuck. So as I rotate the knob, this should go up. Touch the silver roller, and of course that other one should come all the way up. And this one is a spring-loaded roller. This one should come all the way up and touch the sound drum. I've had these shafts frozen sometimes where it's not coming all the way up. Of course, if you lubricate it and clean it and everything, you should be fine. At this point, let's put the C-clip back on the shaft here. Like to rotate them, make sure they're on there properly. So at this point, all you have to do is put back all your plastic and so on, and wouldn't hurt to throw a little bit of lubricant at moving points here. As you can see, there's like a slider right here, and there's also a little screw right down here that you can put a drop of oil on, keep it moving back and forth nicely. On this plastic, call it cog, what I like to do is add a little grease. I've seen these where they've sort of shattered and fallen apart. Good grease to use is this stuff you get at Home Depot. But if you just put a little along the moving areas where it rubs sort of down here, like where it rubs here, where it rubs here, maybe a little more grease on some of these points here that you don't want to overdo it, but it'll make the handle turn a little more nicely when you're loading and unloading and so on. So let me put this back. So at this point you've installed rollers, and all you have to do is put all the plastic back and give her a test run. This has been the installation of rollers on an Elmo CL 16mm sound projector.